Anxiety and depression are the most prominent emotional challenges in teenagers today. And this is real important for you moms and dads out there, and you teenagers for your friends, because as a mom of teenagers, I've seen it, and I've seen it in my kids' friends. And unfortunately, when you're a teenager, especially now, there's so many pressures out there. You've got to be in every sport, and you've got to get the best grades, and you've got to get into the best schools, and even when you have the good grades, you still can't get into half the schools. And the pressure to be somebody and the pressure to perform. And then, they're looking at us and saying, how can I ever meet up to how my parents are living? And they never feel good enough. And there's all this peer pressure. And what teenagers do, because they don't want to go to their mom and dads, is they turn to drugs and alcohol. They self-medicate with everything from ecstasy to pot to Xanax to alcohol. And it's scary because, there are so many medications out there that, that they're taking that their parents might be taking that help them, and teenagers get their hands on and take, and they shouldn't be taking. And it's really tough because you as a parent need to really be tuned in to the mood changes of your son or daughter. So much of their anxiety is related to getting into the right college and doing well in school, and whether or not they're the first one out on the water polo team or the volleyball game, and what you think of them, and whether or not they're good enough for you. And depression falls into this whole place of, are they pretty enough? Are they do they fit in with their peers? And are they popular? And now you've got raves and all the things associated with that. And the thing about our generation is we're a little bit smarter than they are, because we did a lot of what they're doing. So we know the good and the bad and the ugly. And I think what you got to do is recognize if your kid or your teenager or your 12-year-old seems overwhelmed and stressed out and irritable, then they are. If they're up in bed with the door shut, closed into their room by themselves, and you wonder if they're depressed, they probably are. If they're not out socializing and being part of the group and enjoying themselves, there's probably a problem. If you think and you suspect they're coming home drunk, or they're, smoking pot or taking some kind of drug to self-medicate for anxiety and depression, you can see it in their eyes. And then it's up to you. And I urge you, if you have a teenager who's under the age of 18, do whatever it takes to get them help. Because once they're 18, you lose a lot of your power. And so make sure that you're there. Those family dinners are priceless. To sit down with your kids at night and talk to them about their day, and to be around and know what they're doing, and to keep your eye on who they're hanging out with, and to set boundaries and have rules, that can go a long way in avoiding problems with anxiety and depression. And also, if they see mom and dad popping pills to get through their anxiety and depression, if they see dad come home at night and down 4 beers or 2 scotch and whatever you drink, sodas, what kind of message is that for them? I could speak for hours about anxiety and depression and teenagers, but it is a real problem. And because they don't have coping skills, let me tell you something. I feel like my program should be in every high school in the country, because these are skills our kids aren't learning. Oh, sure, they're learning how to get out there and, party, and they're learning how to study for the SATs, and they're learning how to get into college, and they're learning how to play basketball. But who's teaching our teenagers how to cope? How to cope with mom and dad losing their income, how to cope with having to sell their house, how to cope with mom and dad getting a divorce, how to cope with peer pressure. So unfortunately, they often self-medicate. So if you're looking for some answers, send your teen to my website. You go to the website, because there's just some great downloadable information on how to deal with anxiety. And take your teen, sit them down in front of the website and show them the symptoms of anxiety. There's a profile there for anxiety. There's one on depression, and there's some great coping skills. Buy them some great books. Get them from Panic to Power. I mean, it means so much to your teen that you care. And if you're the teen, I'm talking to you. You can be helped. And it's not in drugs, and it's not in alcohol. Go to my website. Check it out. And until then, go live your life.
For more free videos and resources, please visit Lucinda Bassett at lucindabassettcoaching.com. Thank you.